Hi, good morning and welcome to Live with Joy. I'm going to wait a few moments for everybody to come on that post, and we're going to discuss what we are doing today and what we are also including into this week. So what you're going to need, and I'll repeat it in just a few moments, is a mat. You'll see that I have a mat on the floor, and we are going to be alternating between our standing and grounded work today. And you're going to also want to have a dumbbell. You're going to only need one dumbbell today, but you can have it be a heavy one if you'd like, since we're working in the lower body. You can also use no weights. You're going to decide. You can just use your own body weight. Some of the moves will be a little bit difficult, and maybe that extra resistance is going to be too much. So you can decide what you want to do, okay? So what we're going to be focusing on or including in this week is mobility. Mobility through the joints. We're trying to work the movement of those joints. So what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be starting with some mobility movement, active movement around the joints that we're going to be working and focusing on. And then we're going to end with some mobility stretching. And then in between, we're going to work the muscles surrounding the joint that we're working mobility on to strengthen, okay? So today, this workout is going to include hip mobility and strength. You're going to need to have your mat. We will be alternating between standing and grounded circuits, and one dumbbell if you do want to include resistance, but you don't have to. Some of the moves you can just use your own body weight for, and that will be totally fine as well. So you'll just kind of see how you feel through the moves. So we're going to start with some hip mobility in two different circuits, one standing, one grounded hip mobility, and then we're going to go into strength. And we're going to have 4 circuits. 2 are going to be standing, 2 are going to be grounded, and then we're going to finish with some static stretching through the hip to work that mobility as well. So we finalize our mobility at the end to stretch, okay? So that is what we're going to be doing today. Make sure you have your mat, make sure you have your weights handy, and we're going to start with just a very quick warm-up, and then we're going to get into those moves, okay? Shoulders down, track back, engage that center, and march it out. Stand up nice and tall. Get those shoulders down. Engage your center. 8, 4, 3, 2. Let's go across. We need a little push. Let's go 8 more here. 8, 4, 3. Now tap it. Right, left. Right and left. Right here. Right and left. Let's go 8, 7, then we're going to tap it back. 4, 3, 2, let's tap it back. Push forward. Push. 8 more here. 8, 4, 3, 2, back to the heel front. Heel. 6, 4, 3, 2, tap it side to side. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, step back and press forward. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, to the front. 4, 3, 2, take it side. 4, 3, 2, press it back. 4, 3, 2, let's go back to the side. 4, 3, 2 to the front. 4, 3, 2 to the side. 4, 3, 2, march it out. Stand tall. 4, 3, keep marching. Roll those shoulders back. 4 more times. 3 more. 2 more. Take those legs out wide and hold. Hands on those thighs and hinge forward with a flat back. Let's hold. And roll it up halfway, stretch that spine. Take that flat back down, roll it all the way up and allow the head to come up west. All right, so our 2 first mobility moves. We're going to interlock the fingers, take it behind the head, open up that chest and really press those elbows back. I'm going to show you from the side here, we've got some good warnings. When we hinge forward with the flat back, we'll stretch in the lower back, all the way through the hips, down through the glutes and the hamstrings. Right here, first 30 seconds. Second 30 seconds, we're going to grab our foot, push. What I want you to do is push the hips forward, release that leg, grab and push the So it's an alternating pull through that quad all the way up through the hip flexor. Now, if it's too much for you to grab here, you can just reach for it without grabbing, but get this mobility and think about pushing those hips forward as you draw that heel to your bottom, okay? So first, exercise mobility, interlock the fingers. If you can't interlock, loosen behind the ears are fine. But what you want to really make sure you're doing is activating that back and really keeping those elbows back. Don't bring it here. Don't round that head when you come down. Everything stays straight right here. With that nice stretch of the back of your legs and come up, get set, and go. 30 seconds on the clock. First mobility move here. Hinge forward and rise up. All right, so we're really trying to think about joint movement through the hips today. Right here, hip hinging for those good mornings. And this is going to help you get more hip mobility. Good, get that last one in. You've got 5 seconds to come on up. Release those hands and start to alternate again. If you can grab it, pull, push the hips forward, alternate to the other side, pull and push the hips forward. And again, if you can't grab, just push the hips forward and draw the heel into your bottom, okay? And work at it. If you can grab it, you'll increase that hip mobility, but you gotta push that hip forward as you grab. So you get that nice stretch through that hip flexor in the front. And alternate. Good, I'm gonna get each side in one more time. Separate my feet a little bit, interlock my fingers, open up that chest, elbows back, and hinge forward with that nice straight back. Good, back to those good mornings right here. So that mobility is all about increasing that range of motion and keeping those joints healthy through movement, mobility movement. Good, get that last one in. Come on up, get yourself in position to grab or draw that heel up. If you can, grabbing, push those hips forward with that little pull up, and then switch to the other side, push those hips forward and pull. Get that nice little glute squeeze as you push the hips in front of you. You want to feel that stretch all the way up through here. Okay, this is going to help you elongate those muscles in an active way. We're not holding it, we're keeping it active by moving, which makes it more mobile here. And it's going to give us a nice warm-up for when we get into the strength and conditioning part of this workout. Take the legs wide, interlock the fingers, open up the chest, squeeze those back muscles, and hinge forward, and come on up. We got set number 3. We got one more left to go after this. 4 sets to go, okay? 4 sets in each one of those circuits, 30 seconds each. On that mobility work, that strength work, and then those static hold stretches at the end. So hang in there with me, guys. Good, last one. Good, get yourself in position. You draw that heel up, grab the foot if you can, push those hips forward. Push. Good, really opening up those joints. It's going to release toxins from your body at the same time that you work that mobility. Push those hips forward. Really try to increase that strengthening, that stretching, that elongating of those muscles. Good, should hopefully have a little bit of a feel-good quality in this mobility. Interlock the fingers, take it back and open up that chest. Hinge forward for your final set of good mornings right here. Good, see how I'm keeping my legs straight. I do have a soft knee, I'm not locking it out, but I'm keeping them fairly straight or as straight as I can without locking the knees, so I can feel that nice stretch as I hinge forward. And you go to where you feel comfortable. Make sure you're not rounding to try to get lower. That back needs to stay straight. So if you can only move a little bit keeping that back straight, then that's all you're gonna move. Make sure you don't come out of that straight back. All right, step it in, drawing that heel up, grabbing that foot. If you can, push those hips forward, squeeze that glute, get that nice hip stretch in the front. Right there, you got hip flexor, elongate that quad muscle. And release. All right, you're gonna watch me for your next 2 moves. Let me back this up a little bit. Reset that clock. We're still working mobility. We're taking it to the floor. Now watch me. There's gonna be a couple ways you can do this. Hands back here so I'm on my heels separated. You're going to rotate your hips to one direction, taking those knees as close to the floor as you can, and then rotate to the other side. Now, if you can, taking those hands up, you're gonna do the same thing. That's gonna make that move a little bit harder, okay? So you can go with level 1. Level 3, watch me. We're gonna come here, and we're gonna use those hips to lift us up once we rotate into that move. But of course, if that is too much, you're sticking with just down here, getting used to this first, okay? And if you need, you can use your hands to help assist you up. If you want to try here, hands can come here, assist you up instead of keeping them up, all right? And then the second mobility move, we're lowering down, interlocking the fingers behind that leg, and we're extending and lengthening up here, okay? So if you can lengthen out through those hamstrings and through those quads as we extend that leg, loosens up that hip a little bit more rather than them being tight, okay? So that's the goal there with that one. All right, so we're gonna separate our legs here. You can start to try it here as I go to start that clock, and then we'll get deeper into those moves. If you can, come on up and through it for that extension, okay? Let's go, 30 seconds on that clock. So once again, either staying here, trying to rotate and get those knees to the floor, hands up if you can get a little deeper into it and let those hips really get that work. And then again, if you can, lift up through that extension and then over to the other side and lift through that extension. And again, some of these are gonna feel good, some are gonna be hard to do. It's all gonna depend on the looseness or tightness of those hips. Good. From here, we're gonna lower down onto our back, interlock the fingers underneath that right leg. Flex or point the foot depending on what feels comfortable to you. And we're trying to extend and lengthen out through that right leg, and then we'll switch legs on each set. Good. So working on that extension, lengthening out through the back of that leg, and that's going to help you stretch that hamstring that attaches to that hip, and it's going to make those hips a little looser, okay? Right here. Good, and we're doing that in an active way with that bending and extending. Okay, back here. So remember, you can start here with the hands behind you. Just get those rotations. Here with the hands up, if you can manage that movement without the hands. And then again, if you want to get deeper into it, lifting up. Once you rotate through, right here. Good. Good, we're going to take it onto our back. You're going to interlock your hands underneath that left leg. Flex or point that foot depending on what feels more comfortable. If you're really tight, you might be better off pointing that toe as you move through it. If you are more flexible and you need a little bit deeper of an extension and a stretch, then you can flex that foot. That's going to make it a little bit harder. But if you're tight, go ahead and point that toe and see if that helps you extend that leg a little bit more. Good, make your way up. Now we're back here, set number 3. Okay, hands down behind you if you need to help you with that stability as you rotate. Right here, or again, adding in that extension up after that rotation through the hips. Good, and hopefully you're feeling those hips loosen up a little bit more. If you're really tight, stay in that level 1 move, okay? Until you start to loosen up those hips a little bit more. And again, that can take time. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen today. Good, we're back to that right leg coming down, interlocking those fingers, getting in position, flex or point the toe based on what feels comfortable to you, how tight those hips are, how tight those hamstrings are. So again, pointing the toe, a little bit easier on those tight hamstrings. Flexing them, you're going to make it a little bit harder. But if you feel like it's way too tight to keep that foot flexed, point it, okay? That will make that move a little bit easier for you. Flex, a little bit harder. Good, we're gonna come on up. Last and final step right here. And again, if you got those tight hips, you might just wanna stay here and get used to that. Here, if you can rotate without having to hold yourself together, hold yourself back and stable. And here, if you can manage to get that lift up after that rotation through the hips. And that's gonna get you deeper into that hip movement. Good, let's take it down, interlock those fingers, and right here we're gonna extend. Mobility is super important for your training. Whether you are a beginner, advanced, if you're an athlete, you need to work this mobility stuff into your training plans so that you can keep your joints mobile and safe. And then you strengthen all those surrounding muscles around that joint, and that's gonna give you full health benefits from the joint through the muscle movement. Good. All right, guys, let's make our way up. Get some water if you need. Now we're going to get into that strength-driven work. And I'm going to grab one weight. I'm going to make it a heavy one. You can go light or with no weight, especially since the first move is a little bit difficult. We're going to have some rotations here. So watch me. We're going to squat down, rotate our feet into a lunge, split squat, and to the other side, okay? So you might want to do this without any weight, okay? You can also keep it a smaller move. See how I'm barely bending? You can also just work on the rotation and no bend, all right? So you're going to decide. If you stay low, you're going to be more active in that lower body, okay, as you rotate. And then the next exercise, we're going to have that left foot stabilizing, slight hinge forward, toe behind you for that hip extension. And feel that glute, have to lift that leg up from behind you. All right, so we're gonna start with that rotating lunge. Get those feet out wide over your shoulders, toes slightly turned out. And again, if you wanna just rotate from here and no bend, that's fine. Bend if you can, lower, gonna be stronger. Get set, and go. So alternate that rotating lunge from one side, center, to the other side. So you're rotating through the hips. And now hopefully that mobility, those mobility exercises that we did prior to this is gonna help you rotate through this move. Those hips are nice and warm. Good, come on up. We're gonna take that left foot forward, right foot behind you on the toe, with or without that weight, slight hinge forward. And we're gonna take that little lift behind us. With that straight leg, and let that glute muscle move your hip. Good, nice, strong, focusing on one side, stability on that standing leg. Good, we're gonna take it back center, wide stance. We're going for that squat into that rotating lunge. Okay, and again, you don't even have to squat if you just want to rotate. That's fine too. The lower you stay, the harder it's going to be for the lower body to move through it. The more activated, not just the hips are going to be, but the quads, the hamstrings, the calves, the shins. Good. Okay, we're going to take that right foot forward, left foot slightly behind, hinge forward. So we're working through that rear hip right here. Good, set number 3, we're back to the center, right here. Getting set for that squat, into that rotating lunge. Good, find your balance and stability through that move. Take your time with it, it does not have to be fast. Now we're working strength, we're building strength. You want to rotate through the balls of the feet when you're rotating. Good, come on up. You have that left foot forward, right foot back. Hinge slightly forward. And lift that leg behind you. You gotta stay right there. Back to that right side hip extension. Awesome job, guys, hang in there. Lift through that glute muscle to get that leg behind you. Okay, you can have no weights. You don't even need weights for that move. 10 seconds. You don't need weights for any of these moves, especially if the resistance is holding you back from the movement, okay? If it is, get rid of that weight. All right, one more set of those rotating lunges. Legs out wide, and right here, squat low, rotate into that lunge, or just rotate through the move without even bending the knees, just keeping them slightly bent and soft the entire time. The lower you go through these moves, the more you're going to activate that lower body. All right, going to the last and final hip extension, right foot forward, left foot back, slightly hinge forward, and lift that leg up behind you. Ten seconds. One more time. Good, awesome work. We're gonna take it down to the floor, and we're gonna work some strength in that ground. I'm gonna show you the first two moves, or the two moves that you're gonna be doing, okay? We're gonna come onto our back. I want you to have your feet and your knees together, arms are at your side. With the feet and knees together, you're gonna lift the hips up, squeeze the glutes, and begin me a little out. Separate the knees, not the feet. Squeeze them back in until the knees are pressing together and lower down. Okay, so it's a two-part move. Get that little clamshell movement at the top. Then we're going to rotate to our side, extend the top leg, and a hip abduction right here, lying down, okay? And we'll switch sides there. So right now, with the feet together, knees together, you're doing that bridge with the feet, knees together, that clamshell at the top with the hips lifted, and lower down. That's one rep. Get set and go. You've got 30 seconds on that clock. Lift the hips up, open and close the knees, and then take it down, squeezing the knees together, and keeping the knees together as you come down and up through those hips. So right here, open and close. Use those hips right there. Squeeze those glutes and keep them tight. Those glutes, strong glutes, are going to help those hips, that lower back. Good. Get that last one in and rotate. I'm going to rotate on my right side so my left leg is up straight. And I'm going to lift that leg up and down, not rotating through my foot. My foot stays inside, the foot stays parallel to the floor the entire time. I'm lifting to wherever I can, engaging my center to make sure that I stay in a solid position the entire time. And you don't have to be on the same, moving the same leg as me, but just remember which one you just did. You're going to rotate to the other side on that next set. Let's get that last one in. Feet together, knees together, arms at your side. Lift up with the knees, squeeze together. Open the knees with the hips up, close with the hips up, and then lower down in between each clamshell right here. Come on up, open it, close it, and come on down. Good, finish up that last one. And you're going to rotate to your opposite side, bottom knee bent, top leg is extended. And we're lifting that leg up and down to that side body, hip reduction right here. Get that last one in. And rotate onto your back. Feet together, knees together, arms are at your side. Lift, squeezing the knees together. Open and close the knees, and then lower back down. Good. That nice opening and closing with those hips lifted and those glutes holding you there nice and tight. Good. Finish up your last one. And set number 3, we're back to the first side we were working on with that sideline hip abduction right here. And then one more set of each to finish out that floor circuit. And then we come back up to our feet. Good, really control that move. Work against gravity, especially as you come down. Feet together, knees together, arms at your side. Lift up with the knees together. Open and close the knees as you hold the hips up. And then lower down in between each open and close. Good, working on those movable and strong hips today. Good, last one. Rotate to your opposite side to finish up. Lift that leg up and down. Gonna get that last one in, and release. You're gonna start to make your way back up. You're gonna reset the clock and show your next 2 moves that are gonna be on your feet. All right, so watch me. We're gonna hold on to a weight only if you choose to. You don't have to. These are hard enough moves. You don't need to have the extra resistance. We're gonna go into a side lunge, curtsy, back to a side lunge and up, and then you're gonna switch sides. Side lunge, curtsy, side lunge, and up. Now, if that's too much, it's a side step, tap back, side step, and in. Doesn't have to be that thin if it's too much for you to do so, okay? Then we're gonna point the toe and take it to the front as we stabilize with that left leg, and we're gonna do half circles around to the back, and around to the front. See how controlled I am with this? And that's gonna work through the entire hip front to back, okay? All right, so we're starting with the feet together, either a tap, cross back, tap, bring it in, or side lunge, curtsy, side lunge, bring it in, and other side. Get set, and go. You're on that clock. So step through it, or lunge through it, curtsy, side, and then up center. Side, curtsy. That curtsy is just a slight cross back behind the other leg. Not a big one. Slightly crossed. And that opens up that hip as you go to that slight cross back here. Good. That's going to be it. Hold it center. Point that right toe, bring it to the front. You're going to keep that toe pointed. Lift it up, circle around to the back. Toe is on the floor in the back now. Lift, bring it back to the front. So front hip, side hip, rear. Good, and you decide how big you want to make that move. What you don't want to do is be leaning. Okay, so see, the whole rest of my body stays in one position. So I am moving my leg to whatever mobility I have here. You might have to go for a smaller move down low. If you can pick it up and go higher without moving the rest of the body, then do so. All right, side lunge, curtsy side lunge, or side step, cross back, side step. Back up center and then to the other side. Awesome work, guys. Hang in there. Good. Come on up. And now we're taking that left toe to the front, stabilizing on the right leg. Lift, circle to the back, lift, and circle to the front. And you make those circles as small or as big as you can without the rest of the body moving. So engage that center and lock your position. Good, bring it in and get set. Side lunge, cross, side lunge. Here we go. Side, cross, side, and up. Good, finish it out. Standing back on that left leg. Point that right foot, bring it to the front. Lift, circle to the back. Lift, circle it to the front. Bring it in one more time. Side lunge, curtsy, side lunge, or step, cross, step to the side and back in. Side lunge, curtsy, side, press it in. Or just step it without that bend into your side, cross, side, and back together. All right, right foot is stabilizing, left foot to the front, pointing that toe. Lift it up, half circle around. Lift it up, half circle around, back to the front. Good, we can put that weight away. You don't need that weight anymore. Resetting, we're taking our last strength circuit on the floor, and then we'll finish up on the floor with some static stretching. So watch me, okay? This one, you're gonna be able to break it down if the entire movement is too much. So watch me, I'm gonna be on my right knee, and I'm gonna extend my left leg and it's on the side of that foot. Okay, then my hands are gonna come to the ground. From here, I'm gonna lift that leg up, and I'm gonna circle around to the other side. Circle it back. Now, when I'm here, I'm going to lift back up, and then I'm going to lower down, and I'm going to do that half circle again. All right, now, if you want to just work this move, okay, or you want to just stay here and work those half circles, by all means, go ahead and do that. Adding in the up and down if you can in between each one, so you're really getting that mobility through both sides, okay? Then we're going to lower down onto all fours. I'm going to rotate to show you. Little donkey kick up with that right leg, the one that was just on the knee. So you're going to wind up doing back to back, really getting that right side, okay? So right side's going to be on the knee. Left leg extended out inside of that foot. Lower down here, and you'll start with that half circle, and then come up if you can. Just the half circles or just the down and up. Get set. And go, we're on that clock. So once you're in that position, we're circling, and then we're lifting up, squeeze that glute, come back down, hands down, brace yourself for that half circle, and come back up. And you're gonna get really nice hip work through this combo move right here. Good, make sure every time you come down, you're getting a nice solid position, hands underneath those shoulders before you move through that circle. And up, good. Okay, come down on all fours. I'll come sideways so you can see. flex that right foot and just kick it up to that ceiling right here. And then we're gonna go to that other side for that half circle into a kneeling lunge. Side lunge is what I'm gonna call that move. Okay, just so you know what I'm talking about. Good, okay, so now we're on the left knee, right leg on the inside of that foot, hands down to start. Lift into that half circle again. You can stay right here or come on up. So you're working through that hip to come up on that left side. Half circle. Get yourself in a good position to come up and down. If you don't have the stretch to come up and down, you're going to stay here for now. Okay, and just do those half circles. Or you can just work on that up and down with that leg out to the side. If both of them combined together is too much. Not that many of them, right? Okay, I'm gonna turn sideways once again. Flexing my left foot, I'm gonna donkey kick that up to the ceiling right here. Good, one more time on each side. Right knee, left foot out, hands down in position. Half circle it from here. And if you can, rise up in between each one. Get back in position, nice and strong, and give me that half circle. Awesome job, guys. Really working that strong hip mobility right here. With those half circles, and with this kind of kneeling side lunge, we're coming all the way down instead of sitting into that heel right here, alternating between those moves. We're gonna go into that right leg donkey kick. So flex that right foot and kick that heel up to the ceiling. Good, push it up to the ceiling. Feel that glute muscle activated and working. So move through that hip. All right, last time on the other side. On the left knee, right leg out to the side, hands down, support your position. Give me that half circle. Lift it up in between each one. If you can, half circle it around. Good, finishing up that last one. Now we've got that left side donkey kick, so the left foot flex it and kick it up to that ceiling right here. And then we're gonna finish out with 2 static stretches, alternating each side. 30 seconds in each one of those stretches, 2 times each on each side. Hang in there and finish up that donkey kick. And done. All right, this last circuit is basically your cool down and your stretch, okay? You are completely done after this. Watch me on the 2 stretches. I'm gonna give you an option, okay? So I wanna stretch the hip flexor and quad a little deeper than we did in the beginning. So right here, we're in a kneeling position. We're gonna grab that foot behind, just push those hips forward, and we're staying right here. Now, if you have trouble being on this knee, your option is gonna be grab it from the side, laying down, okay? Right here, same thing, push your hips forward, hold it for 30 seconds, okay? And then next, whatever leg you were just stretching is gonna stay behind you, okay? We're gonna lift up and come into that pigeon pose position right here, okay? If you need to stay up, your hips aren't flexible, that's fine. You can sit down, you're gonna be here. If you can lower down here, you're gonna be here. You can get the forehead to the ground, you're gonna be there, and you're gonna hold that for 30 seconds. And again, we're gonna switch sides. All right, so we're gonna start with that right leg. If you're doing it side, you're gonna be here, push the hips forward. If you're doing it kneeling, left foot is front, right knee directly underneath those hips. You're gonna grab and you're gonna push those hips forward, staying there for 30 seconds, starting right now, guys. So right here, I'm gonna take on this position and I'm pushing my hips forward. So the more you push those hips forward and squeeze that glute muscle behind you, no matter what position you're in, you're gonna get deeper into that stretch through the hip flexor, all the way down to that quad. Good, keep pushing those hips forward. We are just holding. It's all about static, stretching, and keeping it in that position, breathing through it. Now that leg that you're stretching, put it down. Okay, you guys on your side, come this way. Get that leg underneath you, either staying here, dropping it down, coming onto your forearms, or sliding that forehead to the ground and staying here in that pigeon pose position. Really getting that stretch through the hip of the leg that's underneath your body. Find which one works for you. You do not have to be all the way down here. Good, make your way up. Now, you're gonna either be on your side, pulling that left leg, or up in that kneeling position with the right foot forward, grabbing that foot underneath and pushing those hips forward and staying there for 30 seconds. And just keep thinking about pushing the hips forward, squeezing that glute behind you. And you're gonna get so much deeper into that quad, all the way up through those hip flexors. And that's gonna help loosen up your hips with those tight muscles, okay? We wanna loosen up those muscles, good. That back leg's gonna stay right there. You're gonna get that other leg underneath you, so the right leg is in front. Staying here, okay? Or if you're up higher, that's fine too. Down on your forearms, or sliding those hands in front of you if you're nice and flexible with that forehead on the ground. Good, just breathe and keep sinking your body into it. Good, come on up, we're going back to that right side. So you're either lying on the side, grabbing, right? Or that left foot in that kneeling position, knee underneath you. Grab that foot, push those hips forward, and staying right there for your final 30 seconds on this side. Good, those static stretches, so good for that body. Keep breathing, and keep, as you're breathing and getting that breath on the exhale, see if you can push those hips forward, squeeze those glutes a little bit tighter, and get deeper and deeper into that stretch. Good, and release. That leg stays back. Take the other one underneath you, either staying up here, pushing those hips down, coming down on the forearms, or sliding the hands forward and bringing the forehead to the ground. All the while, keep breathing and trying to press down a little further and deeper. So if you're up higher, with each breath, try to sink those hips lower into the floor. Let your body just start to melt down to the ground, pressing down and into that hip. Good, last and final set. Once again, you are either lying on the side to grab that left foot, or you're in that kneeling position, grabbing that foot behind you, pushing those hips forward, and holding right here for that final set of those static stretches. You're so close right here. We want to really open up those hips to finish it out right here. Now that they're super warm and they've been moving, this is where you're going to be your most flexible at the end to hold those static stretches. Good. Keep that left leg underneath you, back behind, bring that right one to the front. And again, you could be staying up here if you're not flexible. Sinking down with every breath. Bringing it down onto your forearms, sliding the hands forward and sinking your body down into that leg. Breathing and just letting your body fall down and into that mat. Breathe. Awesome job, guys. Come on up. Let's just take a little sit back on both of those heels. Come on up right here. Get a little cat-cow. Tuck that chin, look up. Hollow it out, rather look up. Tuck it in, round it. Good. Go 2 more times. Just before we come up to our feet. 1 more time. Take it back to a neutral position. Walk those hands in, and then let's just roll our bodies up from that position. Bringing those shoulders down and back. Take 2 deep breaths. Once you're up, exhale. 1 more time in. And exhale. And I hope you feel the difference in those hips right now. Hopefully they feel a little bit more mobile, a little bit more loose. Those muscles feel a little bit more loose and not so tight and restricted. This is what I'm talking about when we talk about mobility and strength. So we start with some mobility movement, we finish with that deep static stretching, and in between is where we work our strength movement. So awesome job today, guys. We're gonna try to bring some of this mobility into the rest of our week, okay? And I hope that you have a good rest of your day. Make sure tomorrow, you remember our start time is 9:30, okay? And if you do want to join me on location outdoors at the JCC, you are going to register first. So go to the MIYJCC.org, register there, and then you can come join me. Once again, don't forget, spots do fill up, so make sure that you get that done early in the day today before there's no spots left, okay? And I will see you tomorrow. Is going to be wrist and shoulder mobility with the muscles surrounding those joints, okay? So awesome job to you guys. Thank you once again for joining me, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.